Now let us learn about the kingdom fungi. Now in your textbook, there is a small activity given again to how to prepare the slide of a fungus. Okay, so here you need to take a bread, I hope so, bread, and you need to sprinkle some water on that piece of bread, or moisten it is also called as moistening. Sprinkle some water on it and then keep it in a closed container with a lid for around 2 to 3 days. If you open that lid after 2 to 3 days, you will find that on that piece of bread, or maybe a bhakri also you can use, you will find that there is white cottony growth. And I hope so your mothers also must have noticed sometimes, if they have by mistake they have left the bhakri or maybe chapati inside the box, after a few days they might have found that there is some white cottony growth. So this white cottony growth is nothing but the fungus. Now, and this, especially this fungus, is called as the bread mold. So its common name is bread mold. Its scientific name, or yesterday what we have learned about binomial nomenclature, its binomial nomenclature is nothing but, the genus is Rhizopus, and there are so many species of Rhizopus you can find out on the net, or also commonly called as mucor. So this is one of the fungus. So there are variety of fungi in the fungi kingdom, a variety of fungus in the fungi kingdom. So once you get this cottony thread like structure, you have to place it on the slide, put a cover slip, and then observe it under the low or high power, high magnification of the compound microscope. So now let us learn about what are the characteristics of the kingdom fungi. So let us see what is given in your textbook. So non-green itself means that they are not photosynthetic, or they do not have the presence of the pigment called as chloroplast. So that is why they are called as non-green. And from non-green, if they are not photosynthetic, of course they will be heterotrophic mode of nutrition. That means they do not prepare their own food, or they derive. Yesterday I have talked about that they are also called as saprotrophs or saprophytes. Now saprotrophs, you already know that they are living on the dead and decaying matter. So they are saprophytic in nature, or their mode of nutrition is saprophytic. That means they live only on the fallen things or the dead things of whether it is a plant or an animal dead, then fungus is going to grow on it. You might have, now this is a rainy season nowadays, you might be finding that there are certain mushrooms coming on the leaves which are fallen. So this mushroom also belongs to the kingdom fungi. But kingdom fungi has both macroscopic as well as microscopic organisms. You might say, now how mushrooms are coming in this fungus when we are talking about microorganisms. Some of the organisms in kingdom fungi are microscopic, whereas many are even macroscopic in nature. That means you can see them through your naked eyes. So I was telling about the saprotrophs, and I told you that you can find out that this is growing on the dead things like leaves. Bread is also a dead thing, so that also this fungus, the thread like structures which are coming is there. Fine. Now if you see the diagram which is shown of the fungi common, that is the diagram is shown is of the bread mold. First diagram, that is the title given to it is fungi, and this is having you can see the sporangiopore there. I am not drawing here right now, you can see it on the textbook page. There is a sporangiophore in which the spores are present, and these spores are then, once they open, these spores will be all everywhere in the air, and these spores, they are like the seed. Once they fall on some dead thing, they will be growing. Like for example, if it is a bread mold, then it might find some food like this chapati or bhakri or any waste food which is thrown. So on that it will be growing. So then there is a structure called as hyphae, as I have mentioned yesterday also in my video, and you are going to learn this about hyphae and all in higher classes. I have already mentioned. Now these hyphae are nothing but a thread like structure, white color cottony thread like structure which you see are nothing but the hyphae. A single is called as a hypha, many are called as hyphae, and many hyphae together comprises of one big thing called as a mycelium. So all this you are going to learn in detail in the higher classes, so I am not going to talk about it right now. Now let us see what are the other characteristics of the kingdom fungi. So you have learned that under eukaryotic multicellular organisms, again they are being divided on the basis of whether they have the presence of a cell wall or don't have cell wall. So cell wall, those organisms which are only two types or two kingdoms are there, that is kingdom fungi and kingdom plantae, whereas kingdom animalia do not have the presence of cell wall. So kingdom fungi have the presence of cell wall, and this cell wall is made up of a tough and complex sugar called as chitin. Now cell wall is the outer layer of the cell, which since here there is a presence of a complex sugar called as chitin, the cell wall of the fungi are very strong. It will not be easily able to break. Now there are different types of sugars. Complex sugar, like our sugar which we are using for tea, making tea, is also sugar, and the name of that sugar is sucrose. I have already mentioned in the earlier video about the lactose sugar present in the milk. So these are simple sugars. So chitin is one of the complex sugar because its structure is made up of many other molecules of sugar. So that is why it is called as complex sugar. You can find out in more detail about what is meant by chitin and how chitin is present in the case of cell wall of fungus. Now I have already mentioned to you now how is the structure of this fungus. They have the presence of thread like hyphae, and within a single cell. Now as I have talked about, this is a multicellular organism. So multicellular, that means many cells are present. You can see the structure itself, you will understand that under the microscope if you try to find out, many cells will be seen. So whereas in the case of amoeba, they are single cell. A single cell can perform everything. Here there are many cells. Now here there is one more modification, is that every cell has only one nucleus, but in the case of fungi, many organisms are like that they have a cell with a multinucleate condition. That means there are many nuclei within one cell. So it is also called a multinucleate condition in the case of fungi. So here it is mentioned many nuclei are present in the cytoplasm. So since many nuclei are present in one cell, it is also called as a multinucleate condition. It is one of the special characteristics of the kingdom fungi. Now let us know about some of the examples of this kingdom. So first, you might have heard about the baker's yeast, which is used mostly to make the bread and all. So this yeast also belongs to the kingdom fungi, and yeast is only one type of organism which are unicellular. So this is an option, no, not option, I can say, except yeast, baker's yeast, all others are multicellular. So yeast is only unicellular fungus in the fungus kingdom, since many of the characteristics of yeast are similar to kingdom fungi. It has been put under yeast, otherwise it would have been put either in the kingdom monera or kingdom protista, but many of the like the cell size and all is similar to the kingdom fungi. Then we have aspergillus. Aspergillus mostly grows on the corn. Corn, you might be aware of what is corn. Then penicillium, okay. Then mushrooms are also coming under the kingdom fungi. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me later on. You can clear the doubts by either calling me, or maybe you can also find out through the internet if you are interested in knowing about this much. Okay, so today this much only I am going to teach. I have taught. I am going to deal with the classification of microbes tomorrow. So till then, thank you. Good night.